Alright, so the Samsung S24 lineup is now out, and I have to say that I'm a little bit underwhelmed. And while a lot of people are kind of talking about the new features and the new titanium frame, it's not something that we haven't seen before. After the event last night and looking at all the AI features and the new design concept and all the different things that were introduced, the big question that I had was, can we even call this a Samsung phone anymore? And I'll talk about that in a little bit. But first, let's talk about the S24 and the S24 Plus, which were the two phones that came alongside. The S24 and the S24 Plus also kind of got some upgrades here and there. Not really a lot design-wise, there's not really a lot to talk about, and at the same time there is a lot to talk about. The biggest thing that I noticed was that the S24 and the S24 Plus now kind of look exactly like iPhones. And when I saw the leaks, my first thoughts were that this looks exactly like an iPhone. But I didn't mention it there because it was not the final renders. We didn't know whether that was going to be the real thing or not. So I didn't really emphasize a lot on the design. But now that it's actually out, it really just looks like an iPhone. You really can't tell just by looking at the edges because it now has a flat edge design with the curved edges on the side. So it's very much like an iPhone. And I thought that I was the only one that was thinking this, but then I saw MKBHD's review as well. And he said the exact same thing, that the S24 and the S24 Plus look exactly like iPhone. So I'm not alone in this. And that's where all of this just falls in. That's where this whole video kind of comes in, because we've been hearing so much from Samsung fans. And again, I'm not trying to hate on Samsung. I'm a technology lover, so I'm not the type of person that would bash one brand over the other just because I want to. Yes, I use an Apple ecosystem as my daily driver. That's just because I find it much more easier to use. I'm used to it, but just because of that, that doesn't mean that I'm just saying this just to hate on Samsung. Absolutely not. I actually was really looking forward to Samsung this time, and I even made a video about the S23 Ultra, which was an 8-month review, and I was actually impressed by that phone because I never gave it a chance. But when I did give it a chance, I was impressed. So this is not a hate video. I'm just trying to state the facts, which is something that a lot of people are not really doing. So the S24 Ultra comes with a lot of AI features, and that's probably the biggest highlight of the phone. That was what the whole event was also based upon. But what are the highlights? Live chat assist, circle to search, pick the magic eraser, and then a few more camera AI based features that are coming out. But just think about it. A titanium phone that was obviously copied from iPhone, from Apple. Whenever an iPhone comes out, they always criticize it for being the exact same thing. Samsung this time, almost 3 years in a row now, that the phone looks exactly the same. There's very slight changes just here and there. And yes, I do like the flat display this time. I think that's a welcome change. That's something that I like. So I'm not going to completely hate on it. If there's something good, I'm going to mention it. So yes, and I don't really disagree with the titanium design either, because it just makes the phone much stronger. It's lighter, it's more scratch resistant. So that's also a welcome change. But we know that they're copying that from Apple, and not only that, the color, the titanium gray color, is exactly what they're calling the natural titanium color, which is the same name that Apple also called the iPhone 15 Pro. So you then start to think about this. So let me know what you guys think as well, where you have a titanium phone on this hand, and then you have AI features that we've seen before on other phones, which is the Pixel. So can this new device, the S24 Ultra, even be called a Samsung anymore? Because this is a mix of an iPhone and Pixel. So Samsung right now is saying, hey Dad, when I grow up, I want to be an iPhone. That's exactly what Samsung did right now. So it's kind of weird for me. I'm still not gonna just end this video here. I'm gonna talk about the features that we've seen. So we have the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 this time, which is obviously the I'm assuming is the overclocked version, specifically made for Galaxy, which would have better numbers. That's really good to see. The only criticism I have there is that it's not global, so it's not really available everywhere. We are going to be seeing the Exynos chip with a lot of the phones in a lot of different places. So that's kind of a downside, because all of these AI features are specifically made or are based around the Snapdragon chipset. The Agent 3 is mostly an AI-based chip. It's featured to be that. It's actually tweaked to also have a lot of AI features, similar to how the Tensor chip is on the Google Pixels. I'm kind of confused there a little bit. Apart from that, we have changes. A little bit of a change that I thought was really good was the display changes on the S24 and the S24 Plus. They're right now slightly bigger, so the display size has slightly increased, which I don't mind at all. And probably the best thing about that is the S24 actually now gets QHD resolution. You have the option to actually bump it up to a QHD resolution, which is the same that you get on the S24 Ultra as well. So you have that flagship feature there. By default, it's set to 1080, but you can actually go ahead and change it and have the option to bump it up to WQHD. So that's a welcome change. And you also have bigger batteries now, so 4,000 milliamperes for the S24, and the S24 Plus now has a 4,900 milliampere battery, which is just 100 milliamperes less than the S24 Ultras, which still has the same 5,000 milliampere battery. And if we talk about the design of the S24 Ultra, there's also really not a lot of change. It's still the 6.8-inch 2x AMOLED display, which comes with LTPO, which means that it can go from 1 hertz to 120 hertz and then back down. The biggest change, however, I will say that the brightness has now been bumped up to 2600 nits, which again is also a welcome change. There's nothing wrong with that. And I believe this is across the whole lineup. I'm not sure whether the S24 and the S24 Plus also have 2600 nits, but I believe they do. And one more change here is now also the charging. So the S24 Ultra now supports 45 watts of fast charging, which is something that we're seeing for the first time, as opposed to the 25 watts that it had for the previous year. So that's also a welcome change. Now, that's pretty much it. Design-wise, you're not really going to see a lot of changes. It's really impossible to tell what phone is what, apart from obviously the new colors that are here, the titanium, natural titanium, you have the black titanium. You also have the 2 new colors, which is the violet and also the yellow, which are not really vibrant colors. They just have a little bit of a hue of violet and a hue of yellow. But that's pretty much it. And talking about the AI features again, I'm not saying I'm not impressed. Some of the features really stand out. For example, the text to translate or the live translate is a feature that has been seen before, but probably it hasn't been seen performing this well in any other phone before. So the Google Pixel also has the same feature where you can auto translate, especially when you're on a call. So the way that it works is that you have to go ahead and pre-select the language, which is already a pre-installed feature there, so you don't have to download it or anything, you just have to pre-select the packet. So let's say you're talking to someone in Spanish, and the person on the other side of the phone is still gonna keep on talking in Spanish, but you're gonna be hearing a live translation as they speak. So you have the option to hear both, or you have the option to just completely just hear the exact translation that they are, or whatever they're saying in the language that you have selected, which is an awesome feature. The other feature that we have is the Magic Eraser, which exactly works like the Google Pixel. I don't think it's called the Magic Eraser, but you have the same feature that you're getting from Google, where you can remove a picture, or you can actually change the positioning. The only thing that I would say is that the way that Samsung does it is, it's a little bit, I would say a little bit better, because it's easier to manage and handle pictures where you have people, as opposed to in the Pixel, which is a little bit more difficult. So the Pixel gives you a little bit of a difficult time if you have people in the frame. The S24, according to the videos that I've seen, it looks like it's much more easier to do that. And then we have the circle to search change, which is something that I personally really liked, but again, it's not something that we haven't seen, or it's not something that is completely new. We have kind of the same feature with the iPhones, where you can take a picture of something, or you can hard press on something and you can instantly do a Google search about it. So it's kind of like an improvement based on that. The thing that I would say was most impressive was the slow-mo video capture. So what Samsung has done now is this is a feature that's based on the camera, is that if you're taking a picture, let's say at 60 frames a second, if you tap on a specific moment, or you can let the phone select the best moment within that video that would be most suitable for a slow-mo frame, it will automatically bump up the frame rate to 120 hertz and then slow it down. which would then create a smooth transition. So I think that's a really cool feature. That's something that I haven't seen before. I haven't heard about that before anywhere. And that's something that I thought was truly innovative, and especially for people that want to buy this phone for the photography or the video aspect of it. So that's really cool. I'm not saying I'm not excited about the phone. I'm just saying that this phone is really not an innovation. It's more of getting two phones and slapping them together and bringing out a new product. So that's my main criticism about the S24 lineup this time, specifically about the S24 Ultra. I'm still excited to get my hands on it, to review it and see it. I have to say that I'm really happy that they now have a titanium body, which is a 1 gram lighter than the S23 Ultra. So you still get more durability, more protection while the phone is still lighter. And you have Gorilla Glass armor this time, which looks like it's 4 times as stronger as the previous one. So you're getting premium protection here. I'm not complaining about that. And then the flat edge display is also something that's a welcome change. I know a lot of people wanted that. The only thing is that Samsung has kind of been gaslighting us into having a curved design ever since the Note series went out, you know, so that's kind of weird, but again, it's a welcome change. It's something that I personally like as well, and I think a lot of people also like it because it's easier to now, you know, use a screen protector, and it's easier to replace, and you have smaller bezels as well with the phone. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much my thoughts on the S24 lineup. Let me know if you guys think the same, if you guys think differently. Is it just me? Do you guys also think that this is kind of like a hybrid of two phones put together, or am I just being a little bit too harsh on Samsung? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Stay tuned for the unboxing and the review. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.